Welcome. How is everyone doing? It is October 29th, 2025. I'm your host, Cody Toombs. This is the RambleCast. There will be no Corbin today because he's taking this week off. And by the way, I don't know if everyone kind of picked up on this, but it's likely he's probably just going to be alternating weeks now. So that will likely be a thing. Anyway, so man, I feel sympathy for my cat. The little girl, she's been sick today a few times. Hopefully nothing too bad. Someone else is watching her, so hopefully she gets better. Anyway, I know. Might need to lay off Corbin. What the hell? Corbin was abducted by ICE. I mean, at the rate things are going, it might come true. Anyway. So, well, we're not going to have more on that later, but you never know. There will very likely be at least a few jokes at the expense of ICE and probably a few other things. I wish I could have done a news today. I wanted to do news today. It just literally everything conspired to make that not a thing. Wait, what just? Oh, okay. Weird. So let's see. Replace Corbin with AI and profit. I like this thinking. Also, I gotta say, I'm a little confused by the fact that YouTube decided to change how names appear in chat. Everyone's seeing this, right? Like everyone just now has the @ sign and then their username. It doesn't have the typical names, right? Yeah, this isn't good. Why'd they do this? It just looks so much worse. I'm baffled by this decision. But oh, okay, I guess that's a thing they're just gonna do. Okay, so it's funny because I can't give details for reasons, but I know that they're looking at the live stream situation, and I believe they want to make some changes and they're trying to do some improvements, but it feels like a lot of things they've been doing so far, I don't understand the choices. I'm not saying that all of them are bad. It's more that I am having trouble figuring out why they're making certain changes, and this is one of them. It's just such an odd decision to take away people's like display name and only show their username. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, I'm still okay. I actually want to ask this question. So, the experience point thing. What does everyone feel about this? How does everyone feel about this? Do you like experience points in the channel where you just get XP for presumably watching and talking in chat? I mean, I don't have anything against it. I don't think it's a bad feature. I don't really get how it is useful. And yeah, the way that XP accumulates doesn't well, we haven't figured out how it works, and truthfully I don't think we ever will, but I'd kind of like to know, because it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make sense in ways that Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know how better to say it than that. It is very confusing. Um, but it is what it is. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. People, well, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Well, that's the thing too, is it doesn't matter. Like the XP doesn't even work the same way as it does on Twitch. Though I'm wondering if maybe that's where this is going. But in like the channel points and Twitch, they're not valuable. They have no purpose in terms of like actual value, but they're a thing that exists so that regular users can kind of have a little bit of like extra features and stuff like that. That's not what this is though. And that's part of why I don't understand this is there's nothing you can do with the XP. It doesn't serve any functional value except to just put you on a list that only lasts the duration of the stream. What is the logic there? Again, I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't understand why. Like, what is it for? Anyway, some channels you have over 100,000 channel points on Twitch. Oh yeah, 100%. Let's see. In fact, the OWCS channel for Overwatch, I believe somewhere around 200,000 points on there. Let's see, I'm trying to pull it up just out of curiosity. Which I know that probably sounds like way too much, but there have been a lot of times that I've just sat on there for just to like just to get Twitch drops, and I'm not watching the channel all the time. And there's also a lot of times that sometimes it just comes on and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to turn it on and let it run. And I don't really care. Like, it doesn't matter. So I'll just watch it and enjoy. Or, sorry, not enjoy, but I'll just let it run and clock up some channel points. Okay, I guess you can't see channel points when there's no stream going. Nevertheless, yeah, I've clocked up quite a few on there. Very notably, I should add, I've also gambled channel points on there, and I mostly have won anytime I bet channel points. So that also accounts for a lot of why the channel points are stacked up. But yeah, honestly, I don't understand why we don't have something more like channel points on here. That would make so much more sense. I know it would kind of be a shameless copy of what Twitch already does, but let's be honest. Everyone copies everybody else. Why not copy that? There's a lot of other stuff I wish they would copy too. Like I want, okay, I don't want integrations like Twitch has. Not strictly, but I would like something. I don't want stuff that's gonna pop up and like hover on top of the channel all the time or any of that stuff. But I would like things, for example, like I know that Borderlands 3, when that came out, there was a thing that you could do where basically you plug the game into it and it would like it allowed you to do something. It wasn't just collecting Twitch drops, it was something else. Anyway, I would like some sort of other integrations. But we don't have anything like that. And notably, one thing that kind of drives me a little crazy is YouTube supports the drop system. There actually is a YouTube drops system, just like Twitch drops. But they only use it with like or have only used it with like a few dozen games ever. And as far as I can tell, they haven't used it in years. So it's seemingly abandoned. I don't know what the logic was with that either. But hey, here we are. It is what it is. Let's see. A little bit of quick. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do it right now. There's something coming to the Discord server related to the website and affiliate links and stuff. I'm not going to talk about it on here for reasons that I'll discuss some other time. But I might actually do just a quick live stream in Discord sometime, just to like show it off in case anyone's curious. But yeah, I'll have an interesting feature. Plus, one thing I will say, I'm working on the Discord bot, so there will be some. It will be back up and running pretty soon. It will have some new features. Not a lot of stuff, nothing too crazy, but it will have a few features and work a little bit better. So that'll be a thing. And not that I think anybody cares, but I'll be getting rid of the arcane bot that's been sitting in there for ages and just sort of taking space. I know nobody cares. Like it sits down at the bottom of the online list anyway, so it's not like it matters. But yeah, I'll be taking that out of the server pretty soon. I just want to make sure a couple things are working that my bot replaces. Let's see. What else? Let's see. YouTube really... Alyssa's saying YouTube really needs replies in live stream chat. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's not bad in the sense, or for a channel that doesn't have like massive numbers of people talking at once, it's less of a problem. But yeah, when you're on Twitch, honestly, like replies are really useful when you've got a much more active channel. Or active chat. Twitch needs native 21:9 support. I mean, Twitch needs a lot of stuff. Their video player is... At this stage, I'm just going to straight up say it. Their video player is effectively like a decade old. Like, or not old, but like out of date. It needs a lot of improvements. The very fact that you don't have what's it called, like rewind capability is still to me just mind-boggling. Twitch needs rewind so badly. It's something that they could very easily support because they already downloaded the videos to your system. You have some portion of that still just sitting in a cache. There's no reason not to support at least like maybe a 30-second rewind, something like that. That'd be nothing. It'd be so easy to do. Why aren't they doing it? Anyway, whatever. Let's see. The video player doesn't adjust to the aspect ratio of the stream. Does it on YouTube? Honestly, I never really thought too much about it, but well, I guess would have to, right? I don't know. I've never looked into that. I am kind of curious now. When I get a PC, you'll enjoy the 21:9 1440p streams. The thing is, I don't think I would even do that if I could, because I'm sorry, but Well, I don't know. Would I do that? No, I don't know if I would do that. The reason being, most people are not using ultra wide monitors. And believe me, I love my ultra wides. I love my ultra wide peeps, but man, I feel like streaming for an aspect ratio that most people would end up getting. What is that? I guess letterboxed. Yeah, if you're getting letterboxed on because you're watching someone stream, that feels like probably not the best scenario. But I suppose it could happen from, I don't know. I'd have to think of it. I'd think on that. Anyway, let's see. I suppose though, with the housekeeping stuff out of the way, let's talk about other new features and things that are happening. Make sure I'm even, yep, good. I have the right scene set up. So, we're just going to go straight into it. Straight into it after, 20 minutes of housekeeping talk. You can run multiple streams at once. Okay, so I do know about that, and that is a thing. Doing that with gaming is a lot tougher because it's not like you can just render the game into two screens. One being normal 16 by 9 and the other one being 21 by 9. That's not something you can really do. And so the game is going to look, it just chopped off in one of them while it would be normal in the ultra wide. And at that point, that would almost feel like watching a game that's been chopped down for YouTube Shorts or something. I mean, it can work, but that's not a good experience for the people on a regular, like 16 by 9. In the future, there will be one dashboard. I don't know that I would bank on that, at least not in the short-term future. But believe me, it would be kind of cool if there was a way to do something about that. I don't know how that would work though. Anyway, so let's talk about threads because nobody else does. Oh my god. It honestly, okay, look. I know this is exposure bias when I say this, but I swear I keep forgetting threads exists. I'm sure people are using it, but I have trouble believing that there are very many. I am at this stage kind of convinced that threads is a thing that just, it was created, people tried it for a couple of months, and then I envision that it went the way of Google Plus, or I don't know, maybe that social network that was designed for artists or whatever. Like, this is one of those things that just, I have trouble believing it's real, or still real. So I do wonder how much people are using this. But with that said, I also asked the question, how many people still use Facebook? Because I don't really know them. I know of people who say, oh yeah, I still have to use it for this thing or that thing, but that's it. Like, I go on it just for those specific things, and then I never use it any other time. Only ghosts on threads. I mean, that's kind of true. But I do struggle with the idea that threads is still in use, like in at least heavy use. So anyway, they're introducing a new feature, and this is one of those, oh boy, I don't think they realize what they're in for. But they're calling it ghost posts, which, I mean, at this point, like, really? Okay, that doesn't seem like the best naming choice either, but sure, let's go with it. So ghost posts, the idea is that basically you can create a post. It's just like any normal post in a sense, except it automatically self-deletes after 24 hours. And it doesn't actually delete, obviously, like for moderation and safety and like terms of service reasons. I'm sure it just ceases to be visible. And I don't know if it ceases to be visible to the original poster, but it, at the very least, it leaves your timeline. So that is a thing. And I guess Meta is trying to describe this as basically a thing that feels less serious. Like, at any time you want. Oh yeah, it really is. You know what? I don't know that this really is gonna fix it, but okay, we'll do that for now. It's not a great fix, but oh, and hold on, I always shrink the window and I forgot to do it this time. Okay, let's adjust that a little bit more. Okay, so that kind of fixes it. Okay, I really need to redo this channel layout because it wasn't good before, and I'm feeling more and more like I want to really improve it. But anyway, so yeah, this ghost post thing. The idea presumably is that this lowers the seriousness. It lowers that permanence, that feeling of permanence that posts have, and in theory, will make people want to post more. I don't actually agree with that logic. I think it. Here's the issue. Think of how much either you currently or have in the past scrolled Twitter. How often do people quote tweet versus how often do they simply screenshot a post and repost the screenshot? That way, the tweet somebody may have made that you're probably subtweeting or not subtweeting, but calling out, if they delete it, there's now a screenshot of it. So I feel like the whole idea of, hey, you can post something, but it's not there forever, that doesn't work when a lot of people just screenshot your ghost post and then it's there forever. Like that kind of just doesn't work. This is inherently like instantly a sort of not working solution, because, you know, let's just say hypothetically, I don't know, I'm just going to spit out something kind of stupid. Let's just say somebody like Kanye hops on and thinks, you know what, I'm going to say something Nazi-ish today. And they decide to make it a ghost post. Okay, so someone's just going to screenshot your weird racist diatribe and then repost it. Like that's what happens here. So I don't think that part even works. That strategy is just sort of flawed right from the start. So I also think that this is a bad user experience for at least one big reason. Let's say you see somebody post something on Threads, again, presuming you use it. What happens when someone's like, oh, I remember such and such person saying this. I'm just going to go back and find it so I can reference it. Oh yeah, turns out that was a ghost post. It's dead now. It's gone. You could look for 20 minutes and not find the post that you're sure would be there and you're sure is not objectionable. So there's no reason it should have been deleted. but because somebody thought, oh, I don't really care about keeping this thought around forever, now it's just going to be sort of automatically gone. What I'm kind of curious about is, why not even if you're going to have this, why not design it so that you can convert a ghost post into a regular post at some point? Like, let it be a thing that can just pop into if you realize, hey, this was actually a pretty good post, I want to keep it around. And there's just so much about this. I don't get it. I don't think they thought this feature through. And it's that lack of permanence that I think is actually going to lead to a new problem. You see, on Twitter, one of the things that's already common is people will take the we'll call it the layout of Twitter, and they can type in whatever they want and make it look like you said something racist or illegal or whatever. Obviously, this is already a thing that people do. But it's one of those things where 9 times out of 10, people just say, oh, you can go back and look at their profile. If the post isn't there, sure, maybe they deleted it, but there's also just a high likelihood that the original post isn't real. What people are going to do now is just mock stuff up to look like a ghost post and make sure that it looks like by the time they would check it, the 24 hours would have already elapsed. That's it. Like, it's really easy to solve this. Or it's really easy to make it look like somebody posted something really deeply inappropriate, and no one's really going to think much about that. Like, this is such a bad idea in the sense that it just opens up even more avenues for disinformation. So I'm just seeing no upside to this feature. I think it is kind of going to be a terrible idea. It also strikes me as okay, so I see this having 2 interesting effects on users in terms of how much they want to use threads. Because this is one of those features that if it does gain popularity, if it gains enough traction that a significant number of people that you follow start using it. Let's say that you're not a terminally online person. Maybe you only check threads every couple of days, every few days, something like that. You're going to hop on, and presumably a fair number of people on your timeline aren't going to have content at all, or they might have very little content. Maybe they posted a lot, but all of it's only around for 24 hours. If that's the case, like, how often are you going to hop on there and be like, oh, great, I've got posts from a few people that all came in the last day, and then you get past those and you're like, oh, I completely ran out of stuff to read. Like, I can't read back the last, 4 days worth of posts. There's only 1 day of posts to really read back, and maybe a couple of permanent ones that stuck around. That feels like it's going to have one of 2 effects. Either you're going to have a bunch of users who run out of content to read, and they're basically going to say, you know what, kind of sucks here, I'm going to go somewhere else, and somewhere else will have content for me to read. I think there's another group of people who are going to look at this, and they're going to have the opposite reaction. This is going to be a thing, and I think that this is why Meta is trying to do this. I think those people are going to be prompted to becoming terminally online. This is a thing that is, I think, meant to drive the hardcore, or the potential hardcore users, into becoming hardcore users. Push them over the edge into feeling like they have to check multiple times a day to make sure they don't miss any ghost posts. That, I understand the logic. I can't dispute it would be good logic in that sense. Like, that would be a very effective way to prompt people to start always checking, like, becoming terminally online. Except, isn't that kind of exactly what Congress said? Hey, maybe you social networks are overdoing it a bit, and we kind of don't want to see this. I feel like if there's ever been a time that Meta was pushing the line, this is probably it. Like, this is that point where you might have gone too far. So we'll see. I don't know. I think it's probably fortunate that one of the least compelling social networks is the one trying this right now, but we'll see how it goes. It is also notable, yes. Twitter actually tried this in the past. A feature called Fleets, which, oh my god, what a terrible, but also weirdly perfect name. Anyway, Fleets were a thing, and they were killed in less than a year. Rumor has it Jack Dorsey, who was in charge at the time, rumor is that he liked the idea when he first heard it, then he saw it put into action and quickly grew to hate it, at which point it was wiped from existence. So we'll see. I kind of think that the same is going to happen here, but I don't know for sure. Let's see. So, Fleets needs to come back? Really? I know very few people that were happy with Fleets. I've heard people talk about it, and a few people seem to not like it, but they didn't hate it. But I don't remember very many people thinking it was good overall. I'm honestly a little curious about that one. Or some Insta Story system like on, or Insta Story like system on Twitter. I don't know. Why? Strictly speaking, anytime you want, you can already accomplish this by just going back and deleting the post the day later, or whenever you feel like. Yeah, exactly. Fleets kind of ended up becoming a tool for blog spam. It was a way to try to grind instant engagement that would then, if somebody went back and looked, they wouldn't notice, oh, you already like tried to grind this particular engagement like 2 weeks ago. It works on Instagram because most people follow real friends. Yeah, that might actually, that is a little bit more true. You're right. Though I'm not sure how much I would even say people follow real friends. I think it's more that, I don't know. I feel like the way I use Instagram doesn't match what other people are doing now. Also, I haven't had Instagram installed or used it in over a year. Yeah, ever since it came out that Facebook was snooping on all of your app data illegally, and not just a little bit, but they were like stealing all of the data that was traveling through apps, which, how has that never been prosecuted? I don't understand that. Like, that is a crime. Like, it's not just a civil thing. This is criminal. That somebody should have gone to prison for that. but whatever. In case anyone ever needs someone to argue for that position, by the way, please reach out to me. I am very happy to support taking them down. Anyway, so yeah, I just don't see this being a good idea. But other things that are bad ideas, oh boy. Okay, I'm not gonna assert that there's any connection there. So switching over to Twitter, which soon I guess we're going to be forced to not call it Twitter anymore, because according to this post, which that says if you used a security key as part of your two-factor authentication login for Twitter, you need to re-enroll that security key because it needs to be enrolled for X.com. The reason being, they're getting rid of the Twitter.com domain name. Yes, that is apparently their plan, because according to the phrasing here, well, I'll just read the whole thing. To clarify, this change is not related to any security concern and only impacts YubiKeys and passkeys, not other two-factor authentication methods such as authenticator apps. Security keys enrolled as a two-factor authentication method are currently tied to the Twitter.com domain. Re-enrolling your security key will associate them with the X.com domain, allowing us to retire the Twitter domain. Yes, they're getting rid of Twitter.com. Like, why? This is so dumb. This is so astronomically stupid. But okay, why are they doing this? I can't imagine, but I love to think that the reason is they're making so little money there that Elon is hoping to sell the Twitter.com domain, and that maybe that'll pay the developers and a couple of other bills for like a few months or something. This is so insane that they would even consider doing this. So, personally, right out of the gate, I think this just sucks because they're about to break roughly 2 decades worth of links. Remember, Twitter started in 2006, and I don't think you could link into posts back when Twitter started, but still, we're however many years Twitter has had a proper website that you could read through the web. Like, this is a thing that we always kind of had, was the ability to link in. And so tons of news sites have been doing it, blogs, forum posts. Like, there's so many links to Twitter, and all of those will be dead as soon as they kill the domain. And who knows? Maybe they're just going to hold on to Twitter as a domain and have it redirect to X, and that's it. Maybe that's what they're going to do. But I'm sorry, any notion of getting rid of the domain or shutting it down is just so insane to me. Because, like, that's also where they get some number of their users. Like, users show up and start using the service sometimes just because they followed links to it. And yeah, at this point, Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, it kind of just exists in its own world. Like, if you're going to use it, you probably know about it and will use it right away. You're not following random links and going, hey, this is kind of a neat social network. Let's use this, or let's sign up and try it. Like, we're not in that world anymore. But I'm not convinced that this isn't just another really, really stupid idea that Musk wants to pull. Nevertheless, this is a thing. So if you happen to be a security key user, and look, I'm not gonna say anyone shouldn't be, but I honestly always wonder how people tolerate using security keys. I kind of get it, like, for workplaces, but in general, oh my god, they're so annoying. And Alyssa, he spent too much money buying the election last year. I mean, he certainly did, but when you're rigging it, you don't need to spend that much money. And unless you need to make it believable, which I suppose was the goal. Anyway, so yeah, that's a thing. I don't have a whole lot more to say on it. I just think that this is such a stupid, terrible idea. But speaking of stupid, terrible ideas relating to Twitter, Elon, oh boy, has launched Grokpedia. This is the sort of this is why people have been driven to drink. I'm just saying. Okay, so Grokpedia. I think everyone here has already heard of it. Everyone already knows. So I'm not gonna sit on this for very long. This has already been beaten up pretty extensively. It is a shameless clone of Wikipedia. I think that much would be pretty predictable just from the name. And it's not just a shameless clone of Wikipedia. It is a hard, direct copy of Wikipedia in many, many ways. It doesn't have the same page layout. Not exactly. But a lot of articles are literally directly copied from Wikipedia. We're talking verbatim. There are many, many articles just straight up, literally word for word copies of what is in Wikipedia. Which, it's funny that they would do that because there are also only about just under 900,000 articles on the site. Definitely well below 1 million. Whereas Wikipedia has 7 million articles. Why they decided to do, like, I don't know, 12% of what Wikipedia has, I don't know. I'm not really sure why they would choose to only copy part of Wikipedia and not all of it. But hey, that's something they did. Let's see, Alyssa. You wish Android would manually let you only apps that I choose with a fingerprint access run. Random, but on the topic of security keys. Okay. Open. Okay. Yeah, that's something you can actually kind of accomplish with third-party apps. But or at least you could. I don't know if you still can. But there were third-party apps that use I forget what it's called, but the feature that you can use to, like, disable your own apps for a period of time, like locking them down during certain hours. It's some sort of personal health feature, whatever that's called. There is an API for a lot of that stuff, and third-party apps can use it. So some third-party apps actually can implement that feature. I haven't looked into any of them, but I remember they exist. Actually, a buddy of mine used to make an app. Not that exactly, but it was in a distantly related area. But anyway, so Grokpedia. This I my brain is just reeling at how stupid this is. So this is the hey, let's pretend that Wikipedia doesn't exist, and instead let's have a thing that is designed to basically match Elon's political views, and uh and anywhere where it discusses Elon, it is just pure glazing. Like, it hides so many things. It talks him up. The pages dedicated to him, Tesla, SpaceX, any of those things, they're all just pure glaze. Uh, they try to basically shine the prettiest of possible lighting on those things, and they are extremely, a lot of the pages are extremely harsh towards, let's say, transgender people. Their pages relating to political subjects are, in many instances, let's just say, not entirely genuine in their recounting. So yeah, it's a pretty bad thing. I can't give any sort of compliments here. It's pretty much just either slightly augmented dishonesty or just outright lying. But Grokpedia has gotten very inventive with what it has. Remember when Z and E were Democrats? You say a lot of things like that, and that doesn't have any context. It doesn't make Z. Who is, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, this is just such a terrible idea. So, oh, Zuck and Elon. Okay. But yeah, this is just such a dumb stunt, and I'm sure it's gonna work. Like, I know of people that that live in my area. They are so at this point, I guess you could just call them red pilled. They will absolutely gobble this up. They're gonna love Grokpedia. They're gonna think that this is the facts that actually matter. And so yeah, this is absolutely gonna work on all the people who are fully cult minded. But it's just going to get ridiculous. Like, increasingly ridiculous how much this is obviously all just falsehoods. It's basically going to become a Bible for the people who are too stupid to use a like functioning brain on any of this stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's any good thing to say here. It's just another terrible thing. But hey, we actually have something that's not entirely terrible, though it does leave me with some doubts. And regarding AI, there is a new law coming into play. It's called the Guard Act, and it hasn't passed yet, but it is getting bipartisan support. So there's actually a chance that this one could happen. So what it would do is it would require AI companies that run chatbots of any kind to, one, prevent those chatbots from interacting with minors, or rather prevent minors from interacting with their chatbots. It would require that the chatbots remind users every 30 minutes that they are not actually people. So basically anything that they say would not be perceived as actually talking to a real person. You're ostensibly, I guess, being told this is is supposed to be a good reminder. I'm not sure how much that's really going to work on people because, let's be honest, we've all gotten pretty used to like ignoring ads, and anyone whose mind is already inclined to look at an AI chatbot and think, "Oh, this feels like talking to a real person." Um, anyone whose chemistry works that way, I think they're probably going to ignore anything that's saying, "Don't forget, this isn't a real person." Um, let's see. You block the domain on the router settings. I assume you mean to AI chatbots. Though, I don't know. Maybe you mean something else. But anyway, yeah. So, there were some interesting things to this. Okay, the chatbots. I mean that'll work for some, but you're gonna have a lot of different chatbots to block if you're trying to just do it one at a time with domains. Because new companies are popping up every day. But yeah, and not to mention obviously Facebook is trying it. Please tell me you block Facebook's domain. I just want to think that that's a thing. The more people that are blocking Facebook at the domain level, I think the better this world is at. Okay, anyway. So apparently what this bill would do is require that the chatbot companies check the age of their users on a regular basis. How regular that is, the article at least doesn't discuss it. I'm not sure who else, or I'm not sure what that regularity is supposed to be, but basically they have to check and recheck users with some sort of frequency. So, one of the things that I found interesting, and I don't know, maybe the bill also goes into deeper points here, but this particular passage in the article left me with one of those like, oh, they're intentionally, or not intentionally, but they're leaving open a door that I don't like. Quote, they'll also have to conduct periodic age verifications on accounts that were already previously verified. To maintain users' privacy, the companies will only be allowed to retain data, quote, for no longer than is reasonably necessary to verify a user's age, end quote, and may not share or sell user information. Okay, but you're not saying that they can't generate information based on what they got from a user to do the age check, and then that generated information, they could basically do whatever they want, like train their systems on it, or they could sell their generated information. That is all, like, we've seen that sort of stuff before. This is how a lot of companies have gotten by very sneaky terms of service or privacy policies. Basically, they say, oh, we don't, like, the information we collect, we don't sell, share, or do anything with it. Well, yeah, the information you collected, you didn't, but then you made new information based on that, and you're happy to sell that stuff. Facebook actually got caught doing something to that effect a few times, and many other companies have been known to do this. So I feel like this law is kind of setting people up to expect the wrong things. So, yeah, I do not like this. I like that there's an attempt to sort of rein in AI companies, at least regarding minors, but I kind of think that they're probably not going far enough. That being said, I do find myself wondering if this is really going to be as effective as they think it is. So, first, obviously, I think a lot of people are just going to see this as a a dumb roadblock that they just need to get past. And there will be, I think, a lot of ways to bypass the age verifications. Very possibly literally just using a VPN. Like if this law, or since this law is going to be US only, at least until the EU possibly adds some sort of requirement of their own, yeah, accessing these services will just be as simple as hopping onto a VPN and pretending to be from another country. That's it. That's a pretty easy step for bypassing any of this, and it'll work. So yeah, that alone already feels like kind of a failure for this strategy. The other thing here is there probably should be, I would argue, the protections probably shouldn't just be for minors. Like, this seems like it's already in the territory of, why don't you just regulate the chatbots entirely? You know, we already have regulations of other kinds to prevent people from, let's say, harm or self-harm related products. I mean, we almost at one point banned cigarettes. Sadly, that never actually happened. But it like a lot of drug use is prohibited for obvious reasons. It's bad for people, and I'm not. This isn't a discussion about all drugs. I'm not like suggesting that we need to keep a lot of things banned. But let's be honest, PCP stuff like that. Yeah, that there's no health benefit to that. There's no psychological advantage to people getting hooked on meth. Like, these are not big wins. So maybe, just maybe, let's block AI chatbots from. How about just blocking them entirely from, I don't know, helping people plan suicides? Or, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't have chatbots that are designed around hitting on, like, discussing sexual scenarios with people. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying this is a possibility. And it's kind of surprising to me that hasn't been the discussion point. Because honestly, there are a lot of certainly right-wingers who've looked at this and said, hey, we're not okay with chatbots for a number of other reasons. Weirdly, they seem to not mind that one. With the notable exception, and I find this one hilarious, because, let's see, was it in this paragraph? Yeah. I just have to bring this up because it's old news, but I think it's so funny that the Engadget writer, and I have to give credit to the Engadget writer for this, it brought up Senator Josh Hawley, who had previously used the term, or, well, let me say this a different way. He was discussing the Meta AI chatbots and said that they were having, quote, sensual conversations with children. I'd like to point out, this is already a creepy topic. It obviously, like, chatbots should not be having any sort of, like, sexual discussions with children. That is really certainly not in the realm of okay. But somehow he managed to pick a word that made it creepier. The guy made it creepier. And Alyssa, yes, AI therapist is a terrible idea. You have to be licensed to be a therapist. Therefore, AI is not a thing that should be trying to do that. Oh boy. Oh, geez. Okay. I got one of those, hey, I'm your congressperson, and we'd love for you to sit and listen to a very long phone message. No. No, you're not going to get me to listen to that. Thanks, bye. But anyway. So, let's see. Isn't Hawley up for re-election next year? Is he? Yeah, I think so. It's kind of hard to remember, but yeah, that does kind of sound right. Um, it's either next year or maybe it's at the end of Trump's term. I forget which. But yeah, it's coming up, kind of. Anyway, yeah, I feel like this is probably going to be one of those times where we look back on this and say the Guard Act was a good idea. It needed to go further. The one thing that I do kind of have one reservation about, though, is taking chatbots off the board for minors entirely. Like, in a way, I'm kind of with this idea. I do think that there's some... I think that that's probably a good idea. But at the same time, I find myself wondering, should a tool that is going to be seen as so widely used within the next few years, should that be a thing that minors have no access to until they turn 18? Like, that's a really big stretch. I mean, we're talking about chatbots, yes, and not all AI. Obviously, a lot of AI is not going to be discussed here. Specifically, the chatbots. How much is a chatbot a thing that you should really be limiting their access to, versus maybe there should be a point where a sufficiently tested and certified chatbot that has good guardrails built in, maybe that's a thing that should be considered okay. Like, that would make more sense than just a across the board ban of chatbots, because I think we're going to reach that point where a average person is going to just going to say, like, yes, my daily work literally requires the use of chatbots. How much are kids, minors, and when I'm talking about minors, I'm not necessarily talking about like a 12-year-old, but let's say someone who just turned 17. Like, there will literally be jobs you're not allowed to have because of this. The Guard Act would literally prohibit your use of a chatbot if you had a job that would otherwise require you use a chatbot. This kind of feels like a problematic law where it will ultimately inhibit use of a tool that frankly I think a lot of kids are going to kind of grow up needing at some point to use. And obviously, you know, we could have the same arguments and discussions about, oh, you know, they're using them to cheat on tests, or they're using them to write term papers and things like that. I'm sorry, but there's non-chatbots that will also be used to do this stuff. I don't know what features will ultimately be used here, but I have a feeling we're going to get to that point of people saying, hey, you know, chatbots are just useful for too many things, and we probably shouldn't be keeping all of that out of reach of kids until all of a sudden they turn 18, at which point it's like, you know what, floodgates are open, now you can generate whatever you want. I think that's going to become a touchy issue. Alyssa, you're saying he might only give a crap because he wants re-election. Um, in this instance, I actually don't think that's the case. Um, I think Hawley in particular, like if you've watched enough of what this guy says, he really, I think he's a true believer type. I think he's really dedicated to a lot of the things that he says, because he hits a lot of this stuff with gusto. I don't know that that's the word I want to use, but let's go with it. He is a very determined person. And Carson, you say like in education chatbot. Yeah, 100%. I could see an educational chatbot that has, let's just say, been, again, like designed with the proper guardrails in place and very extensively tested by, let's just say, adults who are clever about it and will sit down and just spend like days trying to poke and prod and convince a chatbot to say something inappropriate. And if they fail to come up with anything after days or weeks of prodding at it, maybe even open a chatbot up to the public and just be like, hey, we're inviting people, please try to break this thing. If they can succeed in that sort of thing, then that would be a pretty effective strategy. Hold on, just noticed the oh, maybe that'll work. Okay, there. Just sort of fixing it so that the page was lined up correctly. Also, there. Just kind of feel a little weird having the don't like that either. I look like I'm sitting amongst the kids here, and it's just doesn't look right. So I'll just scroll it to there. That way it's a little bit less strange looking. Okay. So yeah, I think that this is the sort of thing that the Guard Act has the right idea. It has the right ambition. I think it needs a lot of nuances and will have to be changed. If what's currently being proposed, if that does end up passing, I think they're going to have to revisit this and change almost everything about it at some point or another. And to that extent, I think it's going to be like, they're going to have to probably change the age limit eventually someday from, let's say, 18 to 16. I think that like a educational chatbot is probably something that they're going to have to allow for. I think if like chatbots for the use of work, or just in general, like opening up loopholes to allow for the use of chatbots in some capacity, like these are all just going to have to happen, because this is not a good effective law right out of the gate. It needs to have some sort of like common sense exceptions or exemptions that allow for broader use. I don't know, that's just kind of where I'm looking at it, but I think it could be handled in other ways. But also in government news, or government related news, The Verge brought up a fun point, and if you have been paying attention, a few companies have already been talking about this, but the government shutdown is actually responsible for you and everyone else getting new devices later. Since almost every device out there happens to come with Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and pretty much any other radio signal you can imagine, And even things that don't have like the ability to transmit anything by radio, there are a lot of things that still have to go through various testing with the FCC. Like if they just have certain amounts of like EMF radiation. So David, you think you can live? Keep it shut down? Oh no, believe me, I'm with you. And in a second, I've got a thing to say on this, but yeah. Anyway, The Verge brought up that products like the Leica M-EV1, which is a camera for anyone who doesn't recognize the name Leica, it is being held up by the FCC. So is the WE-M. It is the WE-M Sound, which is a speaker. Which is this something that comes from Nintendo? It just feels like it must because of the name. No, that's definitely not a Nintendo product. God, that name just screams this needs to be something made by Nintendo. But okay. Let's see. Razer has a wireless controller called the Raiju V3 Pro. These are all things that apparently are just sitting and waiting because they need to get FCC clearance. And surely there are many other things, but I can say I think it's probably lucky that we don't have any new phones or major companies with gadgets coming out, because oh my god, that would have been really messy if people are like, hey, we can't release a new iPhone, or if Apple said we can't release a new iPhone because the government shutdown is holding us back. Like, yeah, that's just a thing. So in case anyone's been watching or thinking like, hey, shouldn't there be a new device by now, or wasn't this company or that company going to launch something? Or I don't want to buy a particular product because I know the new one is like right around the corner. Then yeah, you can blame the Republicans for their shutdown. Like, this is a Republican shutdown, and so, put it on them. They would reopen for Tim Apple. Yeah, they would. That would definitely be a thing. The new Apple TV 4K affected. I'm pretty sure that already passed through the FCC a while ago. And that's the thing. Most of the major companies, like, there was a time, if you look back, we used to, like at Android Police, we used to not keep a close watch on the FCC, but we had a relatively we did tend to keep an eye on the FCC just to get a good sense of, hey, is there a product coming out in the next whatever from certain companies. And so we'd try to watch it to an extent. And we used to be able to get some sense of release dates because a lot of times stuff would hit the FCC at a particular time, and it was like you could kind of make some estimates about release dates based on that. Now most companies are a lot better at keeping that private, and also a lot of companies are running stuff through the FCC much earlier than they used to. So it's fairly likely that Apple would have already run any immediately upcoming products through the FCC, probably a good at least 2 or 3 months before they announce. Maybe not quite that far, but it's not too far from that, I imagine. So yeah, I wouldn't be worried about that one yet. It's some of the other products that especially from companies that maybe don't plan as far ahead. The examples, obviously, Leica, Razer, I guess whoever makes this WE-M sound speaker. These are companies that understandably, they don't try to plan that far ahead, but it is an issue. Now, that being said, what they need is approval. Now, the testing actually can happen at a lab, and it's just the FCC needs to then basically give final approval once they receive the tests. So right now, like, companies can still do the testing. They basically just have to file the forms. And since the FCC is effectively shut down on that level, yeah, approving the forms is the thing that's held up. Anyway, so yeah, that's just where we're at right now, which is getting messier by the day. But hey, the Republicans want to keep the government shut down, so that's where we're at. One thing that was sort of funny, again, I gotta give the credit to some of the writers today, because the writer here at The Verge brought up, quote, "We reached out to the FCC asking whether the government shutdown was to blame for impacting its ability to provide clearances for tech products. It auto-responded with an email saying that it can't answer emails because the government shut down." That's kind of perfect. Okay, so let's see. And it is a bit of a short one today. I didn't have a whole lot of topics to work with, and or at least a whole lot of interesting topics. But I figured I would also hit this thing about YouTube. I find this just interesting. So YouTube announced that they're launching 5 new features to help creators shine on TV screens. So this is all relating specifically to TV rather than the website or mobile devices. Though, however, I'm pretty sure some of these things will also be appearing in like regular device use. So let's see. One of the changes is they're going to increase the maximum thumbnail size from 2 megabyte to 50 megabyte. I find that interesting. It's a weird choice. They probably really don't need to go all the way up to 50 megabytes, but okay. I have a feeling they'll be compressing those images quite a bit for regular use, or before they distribute them. Yeah, so I hopefully, God, I'm really worried about that, because I'm just picturing all the scenarios where the thumbnails end up on your TV, and all of a sudden, like, your usage is going to skyrocket because tons of like oversized thumbnails are on there. But whatever. Anyway, so the big thing everyone has grasped onto with this story is that they're planning on doing AI upscaling of all of the sub HD resolution videos. And eventually they will. So basically what this means is if it's 720p or smaller, they're going to automatically upscale it to 1080p. Which, okay, I get the logic on this. I actually don't think that this is such a bad idea. And eventually they want to also push to 4K in the future, but they're not there yet. So I kind of like this idea. I don't think that there's anything too wrong with it. And they do say that channels are allowed to opt out if they choose to. I will say I kind of would prefer that this be a thing where the opt-out is or I think channels should have the option to opt out as a channel entirely or per video. Because in the offhand chance that maybe someone uploaded a video specifically with the purpose of it being 720p or 480p or whatever, because there are reasons you might do that, I would want them to be able to opt out of just on those videos, but not their entire channel. Nevertheless, this is an interesting idea. So in theory, the YouTube videos from the very beginning of YouTube, where the resolutions are postage stamp size. Like there are videos on YouTube that are actually, I believe the smallest one is 180p. I might have that wrong. It might be 240p. But yeah, there are actually videos on YouTube that are so tiny that they are like for like pre-smartphone days. They were the videos that could be taken on a non-smartphone and watched on a non-smartphone. So we're talking smaller than standard def, which sucks. Nobody wants to see that, obviously. But if you can AI upscale some of this stuff to be watchable, that's interesting. That's kind of neat. I'm curious what the results are going to look like. But I think that this is at least good in general. And this is the feature predominantly where I think there is no reason this has to just be for TVs. This should be for anyone watching a video through any path, be it mobile phones, web browser, whatever. Like, you should just be able to watch the higher resolution AI upscaled versions if you want. Which also notably for users, this says that the user, or at least I saw somewhere that it said that users can still choose to watch the original version. Oh yeah, very last sentence. And viewers will still be able to watch creators' videos in the original uploaded resolution, as super resolution will clearly be labeled under settings. So yeah, I think that this is good. I'm sure there are people out there that won't like this, but I think overall it's a win. Let's see. There. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm less excited by this. Basically, so channeling the TV experience. This is basically a thing that is your scrolling through. You basically get like auto playing previews of videos. That's kind of annoying. Hopefully, that's something everyone can turn off. Because I don't know about anyone else here, but yeah, I've never liked that feature. They tried it on mobile, or still have it on mobile, and I don't know. Some people like it, I guess, but I've never been a fan. Let's see. And then from couch. Oh yeah, from couch to cart. So if you have if you've been following this, this is so interesting to me because I saw the first signs of it back when I was doing teardowns on Android Police. One of the and it's funny because I remember even kind of putting a positive spin on it with some like caveats, but I basically said, look, there are a ton of people who are basically kind of like shilling products on YouTube. I would argue that is, at this stage, YouTube is like 90% shilling products. And honestly, oh wow. I just saw a ton of wind blowing stuff around outside my window. So hopefully that does not kill the connection. Anyway, wow, I can kind of hear it through headphones with music playing. I hear it. Anyway, so yeah, this is interesting to me because at the time I saw it as, hey, you know, if there's a product that is being pitched in a video, there's no reason why YouTubers shouldn't have a good method for basically kind of selling, like helping to sell that product, being able to get you know, affiliate revenue out of that. But at the same time, I'm a little worried that YouTube is probably going to try to take a large chunk of that affiliate revenue if they start adding features. And it makes sense for YouTube to try to do that. It's just kind of crappy if they're taking money that would have otherwise been made by the YouTuber if they had managed to get a click, as opposed to YouTube possibly handling some or all of that process. So I don't know. I'm not sure how that has really gone, because I've heard good and bad stories. Regardless, they're basically adding a feature that if you're watching through TV, you can start adding things, I guess, by QR code, which is interesting. So it says viewers will be able to scan a shopping QR code to instantly open the product page on their phone. So, in theory, this is something I don't see why you couldn't have done this already on a smartphone. In some way, shape, or form. Like, YouTubers could have honestly just put QR codes in their videos to even accomplish this very same thing. But I have an interesting thought. So this is a feature that they added, I guess. I don't know how it works. They don't say. But I'm picturing you probably would use your remote to like hit a button, or maybe something pops up on screen that indicates that you could open a QR code to a particular product as it's being presented. Or maybe the QR code just automatically comes up. I don't know how this is going to work. But I have a theory on something that I think would have been more clever and more useful. And just in general a better experience, kind of. Though, even as I say that, I'm picturing why this might not be a great idea. Okay, so what I'm picturing would be kind of a clever idea is, instead of a QR code, which you could do that too, but instead of a QR code, why not add a little bit of audio data to a YouTube video that would play from time to time during that video whenever the QR code would come up, and make it something that's inaudible to the human ear, but something that a phone could realistically pick up. And then basically anytime you want to do this, you could whip out your phone, open, let's likely say the YouTube app, and it would recognize, oh, we hear this audio signal. It's clearly telling us that there's a QR code, or not a QR code, but a link, and we'll just pop up that link on your in the YouTube app, basically just giving you a way to click directly into it. Or likewise, you could, if you're on a network, you could do like a broadcast from the device or from the TV device, but with how many people don't put their TVs on the same networks for security reasons, that probably wouldn't be as effective. But I like the idea that they put this here. I'm just a little, I don't know. I don't want QR codes just popping up on the screen. I get it if you're using like a remote control to do it, then okay, not as big of a deal. But just kind of worried that this will end up becoming really obnoxious, as QR codes are just, like, on certain videos, you end up with just like a dozen QR codes popping up just because that's how many products they're pushing. Let's see, and just I don't know that there's really anything to say here, but just one other little bit of YouTube news. They are apparently going to change their policies around violent and gambling-oriented games being shown on YouTube. So gambling, apparently, at least as far as I can tell, they're just going to prohibit it entirely. So I'll start on the gambling, but come back to the violent stuff, because I think at least a few people will have a little more opinion on that. But okay, the gambling bit, it says they already prohibit videos that direct people to online gambling sites or apps not certified by Google, which really, you carving out exceptions for stuff certified by Google? Okay. Starting on November 17th, it will also prohibit online gambling videos that involve items with monetary value, including digital goods like NFTs and game skins. The website is also age restricting content with online casino style games, even if they don't involve items with real money value or monetary value. Good. You know what? Good. And I just hope, I'm going to call this out right now. I just hope that this includes sponsorships by companies like DraftKings. Get that crap out. I'm sorry, but get it gone. DraftKings should not be allowed to sponsor on YouTube. Just going to say that. Full stop. And yeah, overall, I'm kind of in favor of this because this is one of those examples I was getting at. Like, we have laws that already exist to try to keep people from harming themselves through whatever means. We can have laws about gambling. We just need to. It's okay. Or at least policies that prohibit gambling advertising, rather. Sorry, I'm not strictly against gambling being a thing. Look, I lived in Vegas. I'm not exactly going to go full stop against gambling. But I do think that the advertising needs to be a thing that is just not forced everywhere. So yeah, that I think is an easy one. So let's see. The other thing was violence. They want to, let's see. The streaming website says it will take into account the duration and prominence of the scene in a video. Let's see. For compilation videos, it will consider the cumulative duration of the scenes classified as graphic under its policies. Any video placed behind an age check barrier will be inaccessible to viewers under 18 or to anyone who's not signed into their Google accounts. And it goes on to say a few other things. But basically, they want to restrict lifelike, and that seems to be the key word here. Very lifelike scenes of violence. And they give examples of, or not examples, but they basically say it's more related to like torture and mass violence and does not involve combatants. So presumably if you have a very realistic war game, then that would probably be fine. It's more like if let's say you had, I don't know if this is the best example, but something like The Walking Dead, but very, very lifelike, as opposed to just sort of the semi-animated look that a lot of the Walking Dead games had. That sort of stuff might fall into this category. So, again, not seeing anything wrong with it. Just figured it's interesting that they're applying a new policy here. Okay, so yeah, relatively reasonable stuff in that sense. Okay, so I have run out of topics. If anyone has anything they want to bring up, go ahead, but I think that about hits it. In the meantime, I will briefly mention I've been tinkering with running an LLM locally for a reason that I will share in the future, and goes with something I mentioned earlier. But actually kind of I was kind of thinking about that while talking about the miners having access to chatbots. And it kind of struck me, wouldn't a miner be able to just hop on anytime they want, download one of the open source LLMs, and just run it on a computer? Like, isn't that already a thing they can do? So, are all open source things going to have age checks before people can download an LLM? That seems like a problem. I don't know how you accomplish this. So I guess what, GitHub and everyone else is going to have to impose age checks. I suppose that's not a big deal for GitHub. It's kind of a big deal for some of the other companies, though. I'm really curious how that works. Let's see. The other angle that I was kind of thinking about, something I'm going to be doing. So I may as well mention this now. I actually have several devices just over my shoulder and out of scene that I'm going to be reviewing on YouTube starting, I believe, next week. So yeah, haven't really talked about this too much yet. And also the very first one, hold on, I need to check if this is even something. Has this been announced yet? No, it hasn't. Okay, so I can't talk about the first thing that I'll be reviewing. That's sort of funny how that works. But I'm going to be reviewing, among other things, a TerraMaster NAS that came out very recently. I will be reviewing a few pieces of gear from HyperX, including the Alpha 2 wireless headset, the Flipcast microphone, and the Solocast 2 microphone. I also have, it's not here yet, but I need to check this. Has that been announced? Damn it. Okay, I have something coming. I don't know how much has been announced, so I'm not going to say what it is yet. But parts of it have been announced. I'll just say it's a drone. I can safely say that. It's a drone. Anyway, so I will have a lot of this stuff. Well, I already have some of this stuff, but I will be doing reviews on YouTube very soon with some of this stuff. And funny enough, one of the things I'm looking forward to trying out is actually running an LLM on a NAS, for purposes that, again, I will be discussing a little more privately in Discord fairly soon. And like I said, I might even do a live stream of it just to show some stuff off, because it's nothing too special, but I feel like the thing that I'm working on is kind of clever, for reasons. And again, I don't want to talk about them publicly, because I know there's a chance that somebody will be looking at this channel in relation to this, and I want to make sure that they have nothing to see in that topic. Anyway, yeah, random stuff. It'll all make sense when I discuss it later. But yeah, so I'm going to be tinkering with a lot of that stuff, and I think it will be maybe kind of interesting. So yeah, the review channel is something I've been obviously talking about doing for quite a while. I've wanted to do it for quite a while. I need to probably work on like getting a proper studio setup going, which I've wanted to do, but haven't really had the money or time to fully retrofit this place. But Carson, no, it's not that sort of a thing. I can confidently say it is not that. I've had those concerns in the past about other things, and so not talked about certain stuff. This is a different situation, and again, it will make all the sense in the world once I wants to tell you why I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so let's see, what was the yeah. So there will be YouTube videos rolling out fairly soon. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the first one is, I want to say Monday of next week. I'll have to check that date again. But yeah, so that should be coming up fairly soon. And one of the things I'm going to start doing is, at least a few things I'm going to start basically kind of like, not live reviewing, but at least discussing during live streams, maybe checking out a few things to get first impressions on live streams. And then second ever YouTube video. No, actually, it's not exactly. I've actually posted a few YouTube videos that are just marked as unlisted, or I think one or two are maybe now private. But yeah, the one that's on the channel now from years and years ago, that is the only one that I believe is public. Because that was a fun video. It was goofy, and it was very early in, I guess you could say, YouTube career. It was too early for a YouTube career. I wish I wish the timing had been different, because I could have made much better use of that, but oh well. Nevertheless, yeah, I'll be posting some videos. Hopefully I can get things done and looking good in time, because I haven't actually shot most of the stuff that I need for the one that's coming up on Monday. But yeah, there will be more to share when that time comes. Anyway, let's see. So no one has brought up any other topics. I think that is about where I wrap it up. All right. Well, with that, thanks everyone for coming by, hanging out, and being part of the conversation. Let's see, I will be back this weekend with game streams as usual. It will be evening stream time. There's a little bit of a chance I might have to start slightly later than usual, so maybe like 4:30 or 5 instead of 4, that specific time. But we'll see. I'll try to pre-announce that. Let's see. Okay, and if anyone would like to support the channel, there are links down below to Cash App, Streamlabs, and Patreon. Any little bit helps. And of course, huge thanks to supporters of the channel: Carson, Austin, David, Diablo, and Alyssa. Y'all are awesome. And of course, if you just like to support through purchasing, through your normal shopping on Amazon, you can visit my website, codytoombs.com, and I have a page on there with product recommendations. It's not very full yet. In fact, there's hardly anything on there, but I will be adding more to that starting next week. And if you click through any of those links and purchase something, I get a small cut of that affiliate revenue. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope everyone has an excellent rest of their evening, and I will catch you all in Discord pretty soon. With that, good night, everybody. Oops, and I got everything else ready, and I totally forgot to find the outro card. Now, good night, everybody.